This is Robbie Illuminati, the motherfucking op killer, and your eyes, ears, mind, body, and soul are checking out the 3 Count Podcast.
Weighing in at an unbelievable weight that you might hate, but you can't even
Dang, high pass, we trying that drag ball that.
Now entering the ring, married to the business.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. That's right, the man who leads you up this mountain called wrestling. Your Sherpa. But it's never about me because I'm always bringing in people to try to help me with my career. And I have found that person today. So you have seen this man roasting his fans. You have seen this man continually hitting people with the greatest punchlines. And then you've also seen this man ask for wrong answers only on his wrestling TikTok videos. This is the man who's been on the show before. Welcome, AJ HAPENNY.
Wait, where? Oh shit, that's me.
Yeah.
Dope.
I was like,
I gotta say, out of any podcast, this is the worst I've ever looked. Your makeup guys clearly didn't put my face together at the best, but this will have to do last minute, and it's my fault. I was a half an hour late, so that's my bad too. So, but hey, my shirt matches my wallpaper, so
you know, I'm gonna have to talk to our makeup guy because our makeup guy he's not very good. He's always been a challenge, and I've been ready for an hour and a half, and I look like this. So trust me.
Yeah, and it's the same guy that uses his high school yearbook photo for Zoom, and he's 32. Dude, oh, but it's a good picture. Yeah, for a milk carton. Change up your shit. My God, we've been on Zoom for 2 years now. You would think that some people know how to use it by now.
No, a lot of people have issues with trying to keep things up to date because they're like, no, like I still believe like I look like this. I'm like, no, dude, like you've put on 40 extra pounds. Like you don't look like that anymore.
I've only put on 18 extra pounds.
I was like, no,
you are body shaming. Oh, don't let Remy come in here. Because he'll cancel you, the little twink.
I just saw a video earlier today. I felt really bad. She's on TikTok as well. But she got kicked off a flight because the stewardess told her that she needed to put on a shirt. So she put on a shirt, and the stewardess came back and was like, you still are dressed inappropriate. You need to get off the flight. And they kicked her off the flight. I was like, what the hell? Alaska Airlines. It's like, who flies Alaskan Airlines? Okay,
explain how fat this person was. Let's get canceled within the first 5 minutes of this podcast. Were they hefty? Did they have huge boobs?
We'll put it this way: she got refunded all 3 of her seats.
Oh snap! Okay, so it was BB Rexa. I'm gonna get canceled. No, I'm just kidding. No. I went through like 10 of her TikTok videos today. I'm just trying to get canceled within the first 7 minutes of it, and like somebody's just gonna snippet a piece, just like out of context. I don't need context. I'm gonna take everything he says seriously.
Right.
Like this guy with a freaking 5 head in front of me is making fun of other people. He shouldn't even be making fun of people with 3 seats. So inappropriately, was the shirt provided to the lady, or did the lady just put on one of her own shirts?
No, she just put on one of her own shirts. And like, mind you, like she even had the video. She like filmed the whole thing all the way through TikTok. Like she was being escorted off the flight. She just had her TikTok like still playing. And yeah, so her shirt was like totally was like a full shirt, like sleeves and everything. Like you can't see through it, nothing. Just the stewardess was just, I think that stewardess was just having a bad day and was just being a douchebag and totally just kicked her off the flight because she was like, man, this girl's walking in with all this confidence. And I don't fucking like it. Meanwhile, a week before, there's a girl walking around in a bikini and like no one said anything to her. She didn't get kicked off a flight. She just walked right on and she just sat down in her seat. So
okay, that was good. My next answer. How many seats did she have?
The girl in the bikini? 1.
Yeah. Okay. because that's why she wasn't kicked off, because anybody at Alaskan Airlines were just like, ooh, and then they were just in the cockpit just fapping to her. Because it's not not sexual harassment if you're attracted to the person, apparently.
Yeah,
That's law.
it's fucking weird, man. The way we treat people, like we're so bad. We're so bad.
Oh yeah, we're garbage.
Yeah, we're the worst. Like
even me, I need to even be better, and
well,
I fully admit that.
we talk about it every once in a while. I know I talked about it like on another show where we were talking about like we like as wrestling fans, right? And this is something like we just need to be better, right? Because yeah, there's companies, but we have all this tribalism, and then we like go in at each other. And meanwhile, while we're going in at each other, everybody else around us is like, look at these fucking nerds like arguing about wrestling. Like,
sure.
Are you the same dude that's sitting there bitching because you couldn't get your favorite running back on your fantasy football team? Like, what? Like, get out of here.
Wait a second. You saying that we should respect women's wrestling. Aren't you the same guy 5 years ago who every Royal Rumble, the first Royal Rumble, every woman that came out, you were just chanting the name of their boyfriend? Wasn't that you, sir?
I know who it wasn't, because I didn't know other female wrestlers actually dated male wrestlers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just like you're the most toxic people in the world. But like I feel that wrestling fans are getting better every 5 years. Definitely not every 2 years, but everybody's working. I feel that people are working to be less and less toxic. TikTok really pushes out the toxic people, but it really pushes up like the less toxic ones to the fandom. Like, hey, this is my opinion. You can have a different one, rather than just like, this is fact and whatever you believe is fucking stupid. And just, okay, you don't know the difference between a fact and opinion. So in my opinion, your opinion is invalid because you think it's a fact. So you can just freaking screw.
Yeah, no, that's 100% right. But this isn't a debate show. We got to bring you on. We brought you on and ask you some questions, man. So my first question really is going to be who is
7
AJ
inches.
Happenny?
Okay, I lied. It's 3 or 4. Don't take anything on this podcast I do seriously. I can't wait till this is taken out of context by the 6 people that listen to this when this comes out.
Did you hear AJ on the 3 Count podcast? Like, first of all, who's the 3 Count podcast? And what was he doing on there?
Second of all, who the hell is AJ?
Yeah. He's been featured on the 3 Count for a couple times, and he seems to be, they think he's funny, but I don't think he's funny. He's got terrible humor.
I don't think he's funny. Therefore, he's not funny because my opinion is fact. Fuck anyone else that thinks differently from me. And if they do think differently from me, I will make it my life's goal to cancel people. In fact, I'm going to call out the next 2 days, actually, out of work.
Just
because that's the only thing that makes me feel good, is just canceling motherfuckers. That's the only thing that brings me joy in life. And I have all the free time in the world.
So if you haven't picked up on it yet, AJ is a great comedian. I love his work. We brought him on the show. He's a great wrestling fan as well, and we genuinely like have fun getting to talk with him. And yeah, this is it's always a blast.
I go on rants sometimes.
So I gotta ask you though, like, what's been like one of your favorite wrestling moments?
Sunday, man. Just 4 in a row. The debut of Ruby Soho, formerly known as Ruby Riott. CM Punk wrestling Darby Allin. The debut of Adam Cole and swerving. The majority of us saw it coming. We hoped to saw it, and it happened. And the reintroduction of Bryan Danielson to the world.
Yeah, that was a solid pay-per-view. For those who are living on a rock and don't know, we're talking about All Out for 2021. those moments were all great. And then even Midori Suzuki showing up to challenge John Moxley, like that was awesome. I was like, damn.
Dude, I had some comment that's saying, "Ew, I don't like old people," and they're comparing him to Goldberg. It just what a stupid kid. And then they wrote, "Give me young guys, young guys, young guys." And I'm like, well, there are places you can go. Just go to the Blue Oyster Bar on Howl and tell them I sent you. Or tell them Mahoney sent you from the police academy.
Yes. It's a solid reference. I love it.
Yeah, it's a solid reference. That got hardly any views. Like it got like 60 views on TikTok. Yet, like my Andre the Giant video that came out 4 days ago, me talking about his drinking has like 700,000 views in comparison. So it just goes to show how much my other content stinks in compared to content that I don't think is going to do well.
I know, who would have guessed, that a man can sit down and drink 32 beers and not feel anything. And you can't make a reference to another movie that was a classic. Like two classic things being talked about. People need to pay attention more.
Yeah, Dick Murdoch, Dirty Dick Murdoch challenged Andre the Giant to a drinking contest. That was when Andre the Giant drank 116 beers a sitting. You know how much Dick Murdoch drank? 38. Barely a fourth of what Andre drank.
Yeah, but that
what
man,
a moron.
That man held cans were like itty bitty in this man's hand.
Yeah, cans were pretty much to the pinky to the ring finger for him.
Yeah, it was solid. It was just knocking.
Oh yeah. That's like me challenging Tommy Lee to a dick measuring contest. It's not going to end well.
Or at all. I mean, he just might just. Well,
I'd sign your penis, AJ, but maybe I'll just initial it.
It's just T. So, what got you into wrestling, as a fan?
Let's see. My uncle Bobby taken me to my first event. This was 1995. It was the Melody Tent in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The main event, Razor Ramon versus King Mabel was the main event. It was supposed to be, I saw your face. Everything. It was supposed to be Razor Ramon versus Bam Bam Bigelow, but he was in a soma coma, as they say, so he couldn't make it. And then I also saw Bob Backlund versus Mountain Man Rock. Yeah. With the WWF shaped guitar. And I also got to see PCO there. PCO was Ring of Honor in 2019. So it was literally a 24-year span of me seeing a big old difference in year span. And I saw him at Madison Square Garden, so quite a jump.
That's awesome, though. I genuinely pop when I get to hear about people and they talk about some of their favorite wrestlers, and just like you mentioned, right? Like PCO, 24-year gap. That's incredible. That you can remember from your first point, and then did you ever get a chance to actually talk to him and tell him you had this you saw him here and then you saw him years later?
We are him and I are friends on TikTok. I mean, we talk here and there, but I never mentioned that to him. But what I'd like to do at some point is I'd like to interview him, and I get Just Incredible on a live as well, since Just Incredible is a guy from my area. Anyway, what was it? But what first got me into it before I saw my first event, and just made me familiar with a lot of the wrestlers, was my dad buying me the action figures, because we didn't have cable growing up. So he bought me a lot of the action figures. So my uncle pretty much told me who they were, and he did an impression of each guy, pretty much flawlessly. So that's where I get a lot of my comedy from, and a lot of me making fun of other wrestlers BS and their cool stuff too. but then what got me pretty much hooked for life was seeing that one event at the Melody Tent, which for me, a Cape Cod kid, the Melody Tent is my Madison Square Garden that fits 1,800 people.
Yeah, every single time like we talk, like I totally forget that you're from Massachusetts, and like I was just back in Massachusetts, like late July, just hanging out, and I was
Whereabouts?
actually outside of Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury. Okay.
Yeah,
Was that end of July?
yeah,
Yeah, I was in. I think I was in Cleveland at the time, so you probably just missed me.
we just missed.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I was
that's
like,
how it goes, man.
I was sitting there driving, and we were there, and my father-in-law was like, "Hey, where do you want to go eat?" And I was like, "Yo, the 99. Like, we don't have those in Maryland." I was like, just a cheap place to go get
Okay,
some
that
food.
makes me feel a little better. Ha! You are not treated to your $1.50 beer nights.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, yo, like there's not a place around here like that. I was like, let me get that spot. Let me go there. And rice
Exactly,
rice chicken farm.
and you're getting the you get the Bud Light Selects for $1.50,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
you're just kicking them back, and then you end up outside the 99 yelling some racist stuff, and then all of a sudden just a whole brawl breaks out because you blame the racist thing you just said on somebody else, and then all of a sudden this other guy named Joel Morris you can look him up, gets arrested for a hate crime that you potentially might have done, and he's in jail for 7 years. Shit like that just happens.
Massachusetts, man. Who would have guessed?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He's not in jail for hate crime. Joel Morris is in jail for child molestation, and that part is true. You can actually, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Went to high school with him. Said wrestling was fake, and look where he is now.
That's what you get for using the F word.
That's right. That sweet man pussy. Is that fake?
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask you, man, like you've talked about like your start, you talked about your love and how it's been such a long time. I'm just curious. So, like, do you have like a favorite wrestling match?
Oh, Ahmed Johnson versus Goldust. King of the Ring, 1996. I pretty much watched that match like every 6 months. So, is Ahmed Johnson a great wrestler? No, but he got a reaction for pretty much anything he did. And Goldust can put anyone over. Dustin Rhodes Goldust can put anyone over. Just being an absolute heel. And he took that character of Goldust and turned it into something gold, literally and figuratively. And in 1996, nobody was a bigger heel than Goldust. Just the fact, like, alone that Goldust like wanted to give Ahmed Johnson mouth to mouth, and that's entirely what this match was about, is absolutely absurd. But it told a story in the ring that Ahmed Johnson wanted to kick this guy's ass, but Goldust pretty much just wanted to fuck him. and like, it's one of my favorite feuds because it literally started from Ahmed Johnson just passing out from Owen Hart, and then Goldust like going and giving him CPR, giving him mouth to mouth, and Ahmed Johnson waking up with a gold ring around his mouth.
Yes. I remember, like, I think I heard stories about that match or like that moment because like he was supposed to put his hand over the top and he didn't. He just went for it.
Yeah.
Just,
he just went for the kiss, and then when Ahmed Johnson was really hitting him, like the crowd was really popping because they're thinking like, wow, this guy is probably legit hitting him. And pretty much anything Goldust did in the ring heel wise got a boo or just like a huge gasp reaction, which you've never seen in wrestling since. As at one point when Ahmed Johnson was down and Goldust could have pinned him, he just went to rub the inside of his thigh, and you could just hear women screaming in the audience, like, ah, and just bugging out. And the fact that you can rewatch that and Owen Hart does commentary on it just makes it that much better. And Owen Hart just going, hey, Ahmed Johnson's got his life saved by Goldust. He's so unappreciative, that bastard. And just Owen was just so damn good. His mic skills and his commentary skills severely underrated, because like, one, he barely got to talk, and then when he did get to talk, it was scripted unless it was on commentary. When it was on commentary, he got to be himself. And it just goes to show that and even Bruce Pritchard will say at one point in 1996 nobody was hotter than Ahmed Johnson, and that was due in big freaking huge part to Goldust.
Yeah, no, I remember that feud very well. I just remember seeing like, I remember like people were legitimately like, what the hell just happened? And I'll never forget like that Monday Night Raw when like Ahmed Johnson just got up and he had all the gold like all over him and he was just freaking out. And then like it was actually
the
just
gold
recently.
ring around his mouth, make it sound worse than what it was.
And I was thinking about it, how it was just smeared like all across his face, because it's not like it was like a perfect, no, it was like Goldust like laid in.
Well, like the way that I remember it was a perfect circle around. It's like he just sucked off an Oscar.
To give context, if anybody's seen a movie Basketball, it looked like Jenny McCarthy with the chrome hitch.
Hey, Ahmed Johnson, your sister goes out with Squeak.
Like, what? No, who the hell is that? And then he punched him for real.
Snap to punchy.
So I'm going to ask a question.
If you see like the first dive that Ahmed Johnson does, it's a complete botch and he falls on his head, but then just gets back up.
This is why. Oh man, yeah. I remember that like so. Oh my god, so vividly. Like, just I felt bad for it. Like he was one of those guys where they're like, hey, we know you haven't ever wrestled before, come try it and we'll get you over. And like, man, like he was like,
and they did.
He was a monster. It was just so crazy thinking about like how, I don't know, like, cause like he was always injured, like, and to see him come back all the time, like I was like, damn man, like this dude could be a beast, but just it just never was.
Yeah, and plus he didn't do a lot of cardio, which didn't help with his injuries. So you're not getting the airflow to your muscles, so you're more prone to injury in the first place. And then Ahmed Johnson, like on top of not being the best wrestler, he had probably one of the worst attitudes backstage. So after every time he got injured, like the wheels are turning with WWF or WWE creative, and they're thinking, let's not keep this guy. This guy is kind of a liability. He keeps getting injured, like as much as Ken Kennedy, and he's just got to go. And you have to understand it from a WWE standpoint. Even though that match is one of my favorite matches, Ahmed Johnson is not nearly one of my favorite wrestlers ever. I don't even think he's in my top 50. Goldust is definitely in my top 50. But like, I just love the comedic timing of it, and just timing in general is important as well. Because in comedy, you get the joke man and you get the straight man. Goldust was definitely the joke man, and Ahmed was the straight man, which is why the straight man was always whoever the opposite of whoever was facing Velveteen Dream. So that's why I always found that interesting. And then one of my other favorite matches was Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar in No Way Out 2004. And that told a story like no other in the ring. And even though the Cow Palace, not his hometown, it definitely felt like it was his hometown.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were all that would be one crowd that was 100% like, because every once in a while, like now you can kind of hear like crowds kind of cheer and boo like who they really want to win. That night, that was all Eddie, like 100% of the crowd. I don't feel like there was a single person out there that was like, we want to see Brock win. No, everybody was on Eddie's side.
99% were there for Eddie, and then like the 2% were 27-year-old virgins in their basement.
You're like, oh, Brock Lesnar, so cool.
He's so tubular. All right, great. I'm gonna get canceled by the 27-year-old dudes in their mom's basement who haven't felt a pussy or a butt. But that's all right.
So
or took it in the butt. If he took it in the butt, I won't. No judgment from me. But yeah, they've never felt the touch of a woman or a man, or they've never been swiftly cuddled, and that's a shame.
So I'm curious, man, like what's been like one of the hardest lessons that you've had as a comedian?
One of the hardest lessons as a comedian, reliability, because now that I'm doing comedy full time, at least till end of December, when I know that I got my last of my gigs available, it's knowing when people are ready and knowing when yourself is ready. Wednesday that I thought clearly weren't. So I have to balance between own set being good and between baby other comics. But then timing is usual sets. And also just adapting to just about any room in general. Because I have 4 shows this weekend, all in different places. Each crowd is going to be different. Each crowd is going to laugh at completely different things. That's not something that I have control over. But what I do have control over is if I'm kicking off the show, just doing a cold open and just throwing out feelers as hey, if you're after me, watch the rest of the damn show, see what's working with my shit. And if it's not, either build up a little bit on that or don't do it. So the hardest stuff is just finding self-awareness, even with myself. But I can't compare myself to other idiots that just have zero self-awareness, but just like, hey, that particular crowd like this, blah, 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 creating excuses and all this other bullshit. But the hardest lesson is 99% of the time, it's not the crowd. 99% of the time, it's you.
That's a good lesson to have. Self-awareness, like just, like you said, because like in the wrestling world, like at least for me, like I'm still trying to like understand, like it's never when you it's not if you mess up, it's just when you mess up and like how do you react to that? Because 9 times out of 10,
will you learn from it?
Yeah.
Or will you blame someone else?
Right. I usually, and the funny thing is like whenever something gets messed up, I'm usually the one that's like, even if it wasn't on me, yeah, man, that's my fault. Like it just happened. Like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Like you were just laying on the corner and I tripped and fell outside the rope. Like, yeah, I know, man, it was weird. I should have been on that spot over there. I just take it to, I just, people just look at me like I'm so weird. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, it's whatever. Like I try to like help and just kind of make people. But when I think about like wrestlers, like it is about timing, but it's also, you got to be aware, like if things are getting stale and are not working out, like you should probably change something up or learn to do something different because it's not working. And I know like something I picked up on was I was trying to force something like as like a serious character, and it just wasn't clicking for me. And I was like, I genuinely like to talk shit, so I was like, I want to change it over and do this, and started working, and crowds finally started connecting to it a little bit. So I was like, all right. But like as I get to like other crowds, like I understand, like just like you said, you have to be flexible and make sure you change things and make it work with that crowd.
Mm-hmm. It's just like when Kofi Kingston was champion. Like he would go to arenas and he'd be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like he'd be that damn popular. And then he'd go to other arenas, and then all of a sudden, this guy is James Ellsworth. Fuck him. And or they just see him as like a Jinder Mahal champion. It really depended on where he went. And Kofi Kingston didn't necessarily translate a lot the same. Does it? Possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But that's also like internal thoughts and internal preferences. I just he's never a Stone Cold Steve Austin. One, he's not Stone Cold Steve Austin because one, he's not white. Two, he's not bald. He's not a redneck from Texas. He's from fucking Africa, and he's hilarious and awesome and nice. So yeah, he's a WWE champion, but not everybody has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right. No,
that's why you had Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's why you had The Rock. That's why you had John Cena, and that's why you have Roman Reigns. Every WWE champion is gonna be different. And if you're just comparing it to the last, rather than concentrating on what's going on now, rather than concentrating on your own shit, and concentrating on your own character and comparing it to other characters, you're just not going to be successful.
No, not at all. And I think that's what's funny is like because just like in a comedy world, like you're trying to set yourself apart, and if you bring yourself to compare to someone that's in the business, it's usually not going to work out, because then you're just always that guy. Like, oh, you're trying to be like that guy. Ha ha ha. I'm like, no, not at all. I'm like I'm trying to go that way, not that way.
That's why it pisses me off when they say Eli Drake, who's LA Knight now, they say LA Knight is trying to be The Rock. Why? Because he's talking shit. Like, I don't see, other than him trash talking, which how many other wrestlers have done that in history? It just like, no, it's Eli Drake is not The Rock. I don't see it like that way at all. It's just like when people are saying, oh well, Darby Allin versus CM Punk, that was literally the same thing as Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid in 1994. They did 3 moves that were the same. It's wrestling. Yet I don't see you judging about everybody doing a fucking super kick. How many super kicks are on a goddamn pay-per-view now? Not just AEW, but WWE, everything. How many super kicks are on there now? I see WWE having a sign saying, don't slap the leg. I still hear legs being slapped. And you say nothing about that. Oh, but because he did a fucking rest hold for once, which I think rest holds should be in wrestling more often. Yeah. Wrestling holds in wrestling. Weird. Yeah, just because they're doing 3 moves, it's not the same thing. If you're doing that comparison, then you can say like, oh, every single ladder match is the same because they fall off the ladder.
This is true. So, well, I was thinking about it when you said like the super kicks, just in AEW, just in that ladder match with the Young Bucks and and the Lucha Bros, like how many super kicks were in that match? Like there was a super kick standoff thing. Yeah. It's like everything.
That's the only down part of the match for me. Other than that, the match was almost near perfect.
I genuinely love that
Because
match.
think like Shawn Michaels. Hmm. I loved it too. But I guess you could do a story. Well, people are becoming more immune to super kicks because they're getting kicked in the face more, which is why Shawn Michaels wouldn't survive with just a kick these days. I don't know how to explain that, but if I got kicked in the face 6 times in a row, I'd be brain dead. just like I can't stand the 10 punches in the corner either. And then neither does anybody else.
No. I There are some things like in wrestling that you have to like suspend your belief, but there are some things that I genuinely like. I look back and see, and I probably catch heat for this, but I'm like, like why is it that there's 7 or 8 people standing outside, one guy standing in the middle rope, one dude running jumps on the top rope to hit a Canadian destroyer to the outside, and it doesn't even end the match. Like, but you fell on all these like it's genuinely just confusing to me. I'm like, that's not necessary, and that's kind of like where I've been thinking about like my style and stuff. Like, I'm like, I don't want to hit big move. I want a big move to mean something. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh well,
Sure.
he just does it because everybody else is doing it. No. Like, I legitimately, like, 3 moves that I normally hit will be like a Northern Light suplex, a spine buster, and then like a forearm. Like, those are like my 3 big moves, but I want them to mean something when you see me throw them.
Oh, absolutely. Like if you threw 100 moves in a minute and people only saw 60, was that really 100 moves?
Facts. So I'm curious.
Do like 4 in a minute, and it'll mean so much more. It's exactly what you're saying. Timing is everything. That's why I loved that the CM Punk versus Darby match, because they slowed the pace down. I loved that. It's like I liked Matt Hardy versus Christian, and people were giving shit. Oh well, it's not as fast paced as the other AEW matches. To me, who the hell cares? It's wrestling. There's something there for everybody. There's a serious match. There's a comedy match. There's a submission match. There's something there for everybody. And that's what I enjoy about wrestling, and just comparing the timing of wrestling to just a comedy in general. And to me, the 10 punch, the super kicks, like abusing the super kicks, is pretty much the equivalent now of comedians talking about Tinder on stage. Every fucking comic talked about Tinder. And to me, the 10 punch in the corner is the equivalent of airplane food jokes. Just stop.
Yes. I feel, yeah, you know what? Like, that is a great comparison. There's a great comparisons for both. I'm curious though, man. Like,
yeah, but the international, as I said, the coming off the ropes, the international is the setup to the joke, and then the punchline is what you do afterwards, and it's really hard to fuck it up when you do the setup right. But don't do the goddamn 10 punch.
speaking of punchlines, I genuinely want to know this question. Like, what are some of the keys to a good punchline?
Believing in your own damn joke. As I see a lot of great joke writers in comedy that are shitty comics. And it's a goddamn shame, because I'll see them. I'm not gonna mention any names, but I'll see them like post something on Twitter and it's absolutely hilarious, but they do it on stage and they don't believe in their goddamn joke. Like they'll look you in the eye during their setup, but then they'll look down during the punchline, which in wrestling is supposed to be your finishing move. So I generally believe if something's funny to you, it could be told in a way that can be funny to everybody. But you just have to craft it, not only write it, but tell it in a way that's also pretty damn funny. and here's your hand. You're like a magician. You're just like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, I'm doing something else with the other hand, distracting, and boom, hit him with something else that's surprising. That's not a surprising punchline, because think of it as like a pay-per-view match. You have like the matches during the week, which are on TV, somewhat predictable finish. You knew that shit was going to happen, but then the good ass punchlines, those are your B jokes, but the good ass punchlines, the A jokes, they're the ones that you're not expecting the punchline at all, and it just knocks you on your ass, and it's an absolute beautiful thing. As Danny DeVito says, it's a beautiful dance with a chainsaw. I just go in, guns a-blazing.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's crazy because you're talking about like setups and like punchlines and how like, you know, how it relates into the comedy world, and it's just like in the wrestling world. Like you had a great comparison about the international, and whatever you do after that is gonna be your punchline. So you want to set the crowd up to believe like, hey, like you're seeing the timing put in place, and then bam, you hit them with something heavy, and they're like, whoa, like where the hell did that come from? And I genuinely, that's why I was like trying to bring other people on the show that understand or like see wrestling, but then like they have their own niche, because it's like, this is something that, you know, if you're seeing it from a different point of view, it gives you like that insight of like, hey, this is how you can make it better.
Mm-hmm. And hence why like a lot of people are willing to adapt rather than just like, oh well, this is my art, I will never fucking change. Well, just people that aren't willing to adapt and willing to like change up their shit and just willing to improve. Like, okay, I'm glad you have it all figured out, staying at the bottom. Just look at Orange Cassidy for one. Just strictly a comedy guy, but then within the past 2 years, they're able to like have him develop to a mainstream audience, and just have it be legit, and just have him tell a story with everything, even with his baby kicks. And Tony Schiavone saying, everybody knows those don't hurt, but it's just Orange Cassidy just playing mind games, just picking on the guy, just pissing him off, because that's his game plan. And then people like Jericho building him up, just kind of being that mentor role, which Jericho is so good at, and just having people be able to tell a story in the ring and also in a long-term sense as well. So if you're a comic that's been doing it for a long time and you're not willing to help other people, you're just in the business for yourself, as they say. And if you're in the business for yourself, you don't necessarily care how a set goes, and you're pretty much trolling people at that point. And you don't care how you leave a club, because I'm only caring about today, when you really should be caring about the long term, because all our bodies are borrowed. If we're not trying to make whatever workspace we're in or wherever we're working a better place than it was before, then what the fuck are you doing? Even if you're the most selfish motherfucker in the world, you have to realize all our bodies are borrowed. We're all future dead people. We'll just make this place as good as it can, and just so make it the vision of what you want before you go. Just make this place slightly better for people before you ultimately die on the toilet, which is probably how I'm going to die.
Right. The Elvis Presley.
A lot of comics and a lot of wrestlers and a lot of porn stars, they tend to die in hotel rooms in their late 30s. So I'm 34 right now, so I probably have like 4 years to go till I'm dead in a hotel room. I'm predicting my death.
I guess for me, like, I'm 36. I just turned 36 yesterday, so yeah, I'm probably right there.
Yep. So Eddie Guerrero, who's probably one of my favorite wrestlers ever, passed away when he was 38. So you have 2 more years, and I got 4 more years myself.
I gotta live it up.
Mm-hmm. But Eddie Guerrero did so much within that time. So you got some stepping up to do in those next 2 years.
Got a lot of stepping up to do. But those
Mhm.
are all my heavy hitting questions. So
Cody Khan, if you're listening,
get him on the show.
because I know you listen to random wrestling podcast.
He really does.
Hire Clifford the Big Red Dog here. Just give him a scratch on the nose, because that's what he likes.
He's found my weakness, my one weakness.
Speaking of weaknesses, wasn't Human Tornado his one weakness? Because Human Tornado, you kick him in the dick and nothing would happen, but it was a punch to the butthole that that was his ultimate weakness.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was in Ring of Honor or Wrestling Society X. It was one of the two companies he wrestled for, and then he kicked him in the dick and nothing happened. But then I think it was Colt Cabana that jumped from the second rope, just gave him a punch in the butthole. That was his weakness. And if I'm wrong, listeners, do correct me, because I want to find out who that really was that I'm talking about.
Oh shit. All right, man. Well, those are all my heavy hitting questions. So we got to jump into the second best segment of the 3 Count podcast. People ask what's the first. It's the Red Dogs Power Rankings. But let's jump into the 3 Count podcast, 10 count questions. AJ, this is how it works. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. Whatever's the first thought, that's your answer.
Thought that hoe over there.
Yes, that hoe over there. So,
Hack joke. That was my 10 punch in the corner joke.
So let's jump into these questions, and we're going to put on our imaginary timer for added pressure. Bing.
Okay, it just fast forward all of a sudden. Okay.
That's
okay.
Yep.
You're coming in good for me. I'm not gonna blame your stream. I am stealing gas station Wi-Fi right now, so go for it.
All right, so we'll jump into the questions really quick. So here we're putting added pressure. Bing. Here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite movie?
The Fifth Element.
Friday night, what you doing?
I didn't catch that last question.
It's a Friday night. What you doing?
Doing a show, just like I do every Friday night.
Favorite color?
And this Friday I'll be at 10th District. When does this come out? No, it doesn't matter. I'll be at 10th District in Abington, Massachusetts. Please come on down. Show starts at 7, not 8. So if you're at 8, the show's almost done. That's your own fucking fault. So come at 7. Get your tickets early. Get them like right now while you're listening. Just open up another app on your phone and get the goddamn tickets right now. Gary Peterson is headlining. Come back and see your father-in-law now.
I love Gary Peterson.
No, don't let me tell you how to live your life. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Favorite color?
Go ahead. Purple.
Batman or Superman?
Batman. Just because I love how he just beats up petty criminals. Like, I saw a video to TikTok today. It just like when Batman sees a kid stealing a candy bar and just like he's punching him 20 times. Pretty sure Batman's racist. So because if you think about it this way, most of the poor people in Gotham are my color or darker. So Batman's just going around why are you just bothering the Disenchanted franchise? Why are you bothering the projects? You can fix those projects with your money, you bum, and you don't have to do patrol. And you're just beating up homeless people because that's how you get your jollies on, and nobody can see your bat boner through your suit. Just fix the projects. Just throw money at it like you typically do. You buy banks. That's how you bought Superman's house back. And just help fix the project and just stop beating on people if they just steal a purse. People are poor. People are struggling out there. Just let people do drugs. Just let them do drugs because you hate drugs so much, but you love beating up petty criminals. Go after the white collar crime, Bruce. You're a terrible man. But still, I think Batman's more interesting than Superman.
I'm gonna let Chaz know. Oh my god, it's one of the best Batman rants I've had.
Oh yeah, Batman's racist. He hates the Browns.
All right, so favorite tag team.
Hardy Boys.
Okay. One place that you wish you could perform in.
North Dakota. Fargo, North Dakota.
I like it. Favorite podcast.
Which I'll probably get to soon, hopefully, because that's where I spent my babyhood. And I seriously haven't been there since I was a baby. So I would say Hawaii, but I'm already on the Aloha Comedy Festival, so I already have that booked. So I don't have anything for Fargo, North Dakota booked, but I'm excited for that.
Nice. All right. So favorite podcast.
This one. No, I'm kidding. To be honest, I don't listen to podcasts much because when I'm in the car, I'm just listening to my own thoughts and just being mad at myself and losing arguments that I had with myself. I try to fantasize about arguments that I've lost in the past, and I try to have those arguments again, and I'm still losing. So my own mind, that's my favorite. Well, a couple favorites. Kim Crawl's podcast, Crawl Space.
Yeah.
She's based out in LA. Talks about her hookups and has a new book out, Confessions of a Party Girl. It's absolutely freaking hilarious. Kelsey Lane's podcast as well. This one, Not Your Average Asian podcast. I listened to, out of wrestling, probably the one that I most frequently listen to, if that's what you're at, is probably the Jim Cornette Experience. Now, I probably agree with maybe like 25 to 30% of what he says, but honestly, like that man's voice, I could hear him argue at a cloud for 2 hours and it'd be entertaining for me.
Yeah, Cornette's podcast is really good, and I like all the other ones that you're talking about too, because I besides this podcast I listen to all the time. Obviously like the Joe Rogan Experience is another one, but Joe like always has like different. I always end up listening to different podcasts because of the Joe Rogan Experience, and I'm just generally find myself like listening to everybody's crazy adventures. It's wild.
I'm taking horse tranquilizer because of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says I don't need the vaccine. Oh, I just need steroids. I'm kidding, Joe. Shout out to Joe Rogan, who I'm never gonna be on a show. Would like to be, but I'm never gonna be on a show.
Yeah, we know. He goes to Boston.
I think he's a dope. Yeah, he goes to Boston. I think he's a dope dude. But I've never gone hunting before. But if I were to go hunting, it would be with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And hopefully he doesn't Dick Cheney me.
Well, then you apologize to him because you got shot.
Joe Rogan, I am sorry that you shot me in the face. I'm apologizing ahead of time.
So nominate one person that you'd like to see on this podcast.
Well, I was gonna say the Ultimate Warrior, but yeah, that's the thing. Well, you already had Renee Michelle on, so I guess I would like to see a Drake Maverick on here or a Adam Cole.
Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those definitely would be in the works.
Boom.
And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person that comes on this podcast. Favorite curse word.
Oh, I would say it, but I don't want to get canceled. And the last time I said that word, I was working at Papa John's, and That's-
Nice.
hey, but that was so long ago. That was like 2 months ago. It was so long ago.
Just like,
It was just the culture.
yeah. I said it on a day, and it was.
I'm not
yesterday.
racist anymore. It's been all right. Fine. It was yesterday. Hey, I lived during a Jamie Kennedy era where he was a movie star, and we knew it was bad, but we still said the words like neighbor, just very very bad words. The what was it? My favorite cuss word. I like to say nincompoop a lot. No, that's not a cuss word. I like to say motherfucker. That's a good one. I like calling people the C word, especially dudes, because it throws them off. Misgendering curse words is absolutely my favorite. But bullshit is a good one too.
Yeah, it's a great word. I love that word. I'm a huge F-bomb person myself. Like I drop that shit like it's water.
What's your favorite besides the Papa John's one? Again, you're talking like Data from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like it paused you while you're picking your nose, and that's. Oh, I did the outro.
Yo, I was like, okay, I just get kicked off. I was like, I guess I'll be editing this like crazy.
You should edit your podcasts anyway.
Mm-mm.
Like any
It's like Joe Rogan. I'm not editing.
and anyone should edit their podcast anyway.
Oh man, but yeah,
Joe Rogan edits his podcast too. For like the 3-hour shit.
Oh yeah, what? I'll edit this. I'll put it together so that way it
This
never.
is why your podcast is not going to go to the next level.
This
is why I'm your only listener to the 3, because you're not willing to go to that next level. You're 36. You're gonna die at 38. you got that to the next level. Edit your shit. Take out the ums, the ahs, and like the 3 seconds of dead air. Just take that and compile it. So that 3 seconds of dead air, dead in the water, and they stop listening, and they only listen to 5% of the podcast. When you were slurring, using slurs the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're yang me, but you're not going to do it.
No, you're right. It's still recording now. So, I mean, now we're going to have to go through and edit this out. I think you're asking what my favorite curse word is?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, besides a good F-bomb, I think goddamn, like, I think that's my other favorite curse word.
Goddamn's a good one. Using the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah. People get mad at me all the time for that. I don't know why. I'm just like, goddamn, why are you mad at me?
When it kicked you out of the live and I asked you what your favorite curse word was, you said, "Oh yeah, that's so easy. It's no," and it just stopped.
Chaz would be like, "What did you say?" I'd be like, "Nice." No, it's wild. Yeah, a good goddamn is like always good for me, besides the F-bomb. So, But my last question for you though is, can you let our viewers and our listeners know where they can find you?
You can find me on the post office. No. You can find me on TikTok. That's pretty much the same thing. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. I have no freaking fans on Instagram. Well, then again, I don't post enough. You can also find me in the New York Times. That they had a scabby article about me. Oh wait, I'm not Louis CK. You can find me regularly performing in the Northeast on Instagram. I generally have my schedule up that way. Hopefully I'll be making it back to the Midwest. My handle is at AJ HAPENNY. That's AJ Ha, and the word penny spelled out. So do follow my shit, and you can find me on Red Dog's OnlyFans. It's exclusive, and it's good content. You should check it out.
Shh. That's not something we put out there. That's only for us, like, few people.
Oh, we definitely put out. We put out there.
Well, there you have it. That's all my
improv, baby. That's comedy.
Apparently my handle. That's what's going on there. But that's what you guys can do. This is how we're gonna wrap up this episode of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Enter Ring. And like I said, I am your Sherpa, the man that leads you up this mountain called wrestling. But it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And today you see him right there. AJ HAPENNY is with us. And you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there. Or you just wait till I finish editing this episode. Be
dead. Wait. Wait. That's not how you say it. Be there. Be dead. just like, if you don't listen, I'm gonna kill you.
You just wait till I get done editing this episode. Listen to the outro and check out another one of our episodes. Peace.
Bye.
What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3countpod, give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. At prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So show us some support, please.